We're diving into Ki-Bong and Urum's first showdown. Every pulse-pounding moment was like a symphony of power in a dance. This battle hit closer to home for Ki-Bong as it was more than just a clash, it was a release of pent-up emotions. The Shield Guild's negligence had consequences, so, when he went head-to-head with Urum, it was personal. A one-sided fight fueled by Ki-Bong's pent-up anger and frustration. Ki-Bong fought, not just for victory, but to right a wrong, to make them feel the pain he felt because of the guild's negligence.
Becoming even mightier than the fire dragon, Urum prepared a potent attack, echoing Ki-Bong's counsel not to yield. However, Ki-Bong, amused by Urum's warnings, deftly countered her multiple spells, undeterred in his advance. Charging forward, he dispelled the attacks while activating his Dragon Slayer skill to intensify damage against draconic monsters. With a powerful swing, Ki-Bong's fist struck Urum, propelling her through several buildings in a fiery explosion of power. As Urum disappeared from sight, Ki-Bong inquired about her whereabouts, but I failed to detect a draconian signal. Instead, I disclosed Urum's perilous state as it was on the brink of death. Determined to finish the battle, I warned Ki-Bong about the time and advised him to prioritize destroying the machine. Trusting his comrades, Ki-Bong patiently awaited the designated time before obliterating the device, a success mirrored by the rest of the team. As the mission concluded, the skies returned to their normal state. Following my directions, Ki-Bong proceeded towards the location where I indicated Urum's body had landed, informed that 2 more life forces were converging there. We arrived just as Urum's remains dispersed in the wind. Ki-Bong intervened when James attempted to utilize a returned stone, insisting on obtaining the item taken from Urum. A tense exchange ensued, with Ki-Bong rejecting James's offer to join Hype, a new world order, and instead threatening its destruction. Seizing James by the neck, Ki-Bong instilled panic as James realized his inability to activate his skill. James warned Ki-Bong would regret refusing advice. In his office, their leader encountered a portal opening, revealing Ki-Bong holding James. Ki-Bong, contemplating what to do with the mysterious man, issued a threat. In response, the man taunted Ki-Bong, claiming that the younger generation lacked discipline. Undeterred, Ki-Bong warned him that even if he hid, he would find and dismantle his organization. The man laughed and disclosed his location, inviting Ki-Bong to confront him. Later, Ki-Bong, alongside the Prime Minister, was summoned to the President's office to discuss recent events and plans for countering the growing threat of Hype. Ki-Bong proposed pulling out their roots, and the President agreed. Despite initial opposition, Ki-Bong was removed from the Dungeon Special Forces but granted an even higher rank and permission to assemble an elite team dedicated to eradicating Hype at all costs. The Prime Minister eventually supported this decision, recognizing the severity of the situation. Assembling his newly formed team and contending with increasing global recognition, Ki-Bong faces the challenge of operating discreetly due to his potent abilities. The team collaborates to devise strategies countering potential interference from agents attempting to obstruct Ki-Bong's entry and monitor their movement. Despite meticulous planning, including diversions and 2 cars, agents at the airport realize Ki-Bong is absent from the group. Simultaneously, Ki-Bong unexpectedly emerges at a live press conference, drawing attention away. Unbeknownst to the agents, the real Ki-Bong cleverly uses his team as bait, misleading the spies monitoring their activities. Flying independently overseas towards Hong Kong, he successfully evades any pursuit. In the vibrant city of Hong Kong, Ki-Bong's group engages in a meticulous analysis of pictures, affirming their origin at a singular location. Meanwhile, Yuban concludes his scouting mission, returning with a captured man who unveils startling information about a peculiar individual with the ability to transform into a monster within their organization. With newfound leads, the team decides to split into 2 groups to pursue these promising trails. During their exploration, a chance discovery leads them to what appears to be a dungeon entrance, nestled in an alley. Driven by curiosity and the need for answers, Ki-Bong takes the initiative to investigate, only to find himself unexpectedly transported inside the mysterious dungeon. An explosion triggers Ki-Bong's curiosity, prompting him to investigate and leading to a confrontation facing off against a skilled spearman who challenges him to a duel with the condition that the victor gets to pose the questions. Reluctantly accepting the challenge, Ki-Bong activates his body enhancement skill, elevating his physical abilities. The clash intensifies as both Ki-Bong and the spearman unleash their respective skills, creating creating a dynamic battlefield. Despite the challenges posed by the formidable spearman, Ki-Bong showcases his exceptional combat proficiency by deftly deflecting attacks and surprising his adversary with both strength and skill. The spearman, duly impressed by Ki-Bong's prowess, persistently engages in the battle, striving to gain the upper hand. Ki-Bong's strategic maneuvers and powerful strikes underscore his mastery in combat. As the fight progresses, the spearman concedes to Ki-Bong's overwhelming strength, acknowledging that Ki-Bong surpasses even his own master in power. Ki-Bong leverages his skills and agility to overpower the spearman. With a commanding punch, Ki-Bong sends his adversary flying and confronts him, posing the pivotal question, "Are you ready to talk?"
He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. It seems this spearman understood the art of discretion, wisely choosing to retreat while the opportunity is favorable.
The man sealed the instant dungeon, isolating Ki-Bong. I promptly informed Ki-Bong, who effortlessly tore through dimensions creating his own exit, and returned to our reality. Despite rejoining alone, Ki-Bong remained unfazed while acknowledging the 3-hour time difference between the instant dungeon and reality. I was instructed to locate his team members. After identifying Ubin and Kangwai's positions, I detected a unique item made from pure day stone on top of the sought-after individual in the same vicinity. Ki-Bong urgently sought details on the exact location, to which I promptly responded.
So, is the leader of Hype some OP powerhouse like Ki-Bong, or are they just casually looking down on him, as he does the world itself? Knowing that Ki-Bong is in the city, my man is still running the business as usual.
Narrowly missing the head of Hype, a cloaked figure remained in his absence. The hooded man chuckled, admitting he was searching for someone forbidden. His magical attempt on Ki-Bong proved futile, leaving Ki-Bong unscathed. Ki-Bong, with a discerning gaze, remarked that the hooded man was inferior to Park Yurum. Confusion clouded the hooded man as he grappled with the realization that Ki-Bong had thwarted his sorcery. Taken aback for only a moment, the hooded man had his underlings attacked Ki-Bong, but in response, Ki-Bong unleashed Dragon's Fear, causing the assailants to scatter. Perplexed by a mere human wielding such power, the hooded man challenged Ki-Bong to withstand his next assault, attempting to assail Ki-Bong with flame magic. I warned Ki-Bong that his adversary was out of sync with reality's time like himself. Surprised by this revelation, Ki-Bong decided to restrain and interrogate the hooded man by effortlessly nullifying an incoming spell with a swift kick. Recognizing the changing tide, the hooded man shifted tactics, summoning homunculi monsters. Although devoid of life force, Ki-Bong sensed a lingering humanity, prompting me to suggest putting them to rest. Ki-Bong obliterated the homunculi, nearing taking out the hooded man along with his attack.
This character must be a real powerhouse, and during the tutorial trials for an unknown stretch, Ki-Bong's got a challenge on his hands, something a bit more than his usual adversaries.
Well, there is an entity that did push Ki-Bong to use 100% of his full power, but I haven't spilled all the details yet.
My money's on a showdown with the head of Hype, the tipping point that made him go all in.
It's a yes and no kind of situation. But, as I was saying, Ki-Bong overpowered the hooded man, backing him into a corner, not heeding my warnings not to underestimate him as the man created an instant dungeon, forcefully pulling Ki-Bong inside. I informed Ki-Bong of his powers were now limited within the dungeon, while he skillfully evaded a fire spell attack from his blind spot, prompting the hooded man to boast about his long and noble life in a place beyond Ki-Bong's understanding. Removing his hood, the man revealed his face. Inquiring about the tutorial space, Ki-Bong learned that the man had been trapped there for 200 years, facing the horrors of solitude without signs of life or tutorial monsters. Uninterested, Ki-Bong's indifferent expression enraged the man. In a burst of frustration, the man summoned meteors, attempting to rain them down upon Ki-Bong. However, Ki-Bong mocked the man as a child despite his claimed 200 years of suffering. Puzzled when the meteors didn't hit him, the man's ploy transformed them into monsters upon reaching the ground. Boasting that these monsters constituted his legion, the man ordered them to attack. Yet, Ki-Bong effortlessly obliterated the oncoming monsters with a simple punch, overpowering the remaining ones with ease as it only took one strike to break each golem-like creature. Undeterred, the hooded man remained calm, using his wand to manipulate the pieces of the monsters, causing them to converge around Ki-Bong. Trapped in the center, the cluster exploded in a spectacular display. However, the hooded man, seemingly satisfied, turned to exit the dungeon. To his surprise, he sensed something something amiss and discovered Ki-Bong still standing, defying his expectations. Assuming Ki-Bong was badly injured, the hooded man unleashed a massive monster in a desperate final attempt to end the fight. Much to his terror, Ki-Bong effortlessly destroyed the creature, leaving the hooded man bewildered and unable to comprehend how Ki-Bong could still be alive. In his realm, he should be the sole possessor of full strength, and this unexpected turn of events enraged him. Boasting his godlike status, he resorted to a final drastic move, revealing an 8-star dungeon rank Fire Spirit King. However, Ki-Bong remained unimpressed as the Spirit King unleashed a formidable flame, which failed to harm him. In response, Ki-Bong launched a devastating attack, causing substantial damage to the Spirit King. Enraged by Ki-Bong's strength, the Spirit King absorbed the surrounding life force, unleashing pent-up energy in a powerful explosion. Unfazed, Ki-Bong dealt the Spirit King a fatal blow, concluding the intense battle. In his final moments, the hooded man realized the truth. Ki-Bong had spent more time in the tutorial area, leading to his defeat. With his dying breath, he acknowledged Ki-Bong as an old monster. The dungeon instantly closed, seamlessly returning us to reality. Once freed and back in our realm, Ki-Bong stumbled upon an unidentified object, a container holding a humanoid figure. Upon examination, I revealed it was a dungeon humanoid that Ki-Bong could use. I informed Ki-Bong that, with his permission, I could inhabit the dungeon humanoid. Although I would no longer be inside his being, our link wouldn't be disconnected either. He gave his permission, and after I gathered up all my essence within Ki-Bong, I began the transfer to the humanoid. Once fully uploaded, I took on the form of Ki-Bong's younger sister. However, displeased with that appearance, he requested a change. I then transformed into an ideal woman in Ki-Bong's mind. Ki-Bong examined my new form, realizing that the voice he had been hearing for 3,000 years stood before him. Upon inquiry, I confirmed that the dungeon humanoid was fully synchronized. While lost in thought, Ki-Bong noticed me consuming daystones from the crate. I explained that I required a significant amount of energy to transfer into this body. Despite Ki-Bong immediately ordering me to stop, I cried and explained that there were more daystones in the crate. Frustrated, he relented and allowed me to consume 3 of them.
Hold on, let's take a step back. You were initially a part of Ki-Bong, and now you two are 2 distinct entities again?
Yes. Until recently, I functioned as a kind of quantum computer or AI within Ki-Bong's mind. However, I was also a fragment of the being that originally opened the gates, enabling humans to awaken. It's like forging keys to unlock a sealed treasure chest. The dungeon humanoid, I believe, was fashioned for my other self. Yet, I happened to inhabit this body crafted from pure refined daystone and made my presence known to my other self.
So, not only did Ki-Bong assimilate a part of the being into himself, but he also unwittingly provided a medium for it to manifest in our world. Talk about giving him the finger without realizing it. Quite the intricate situation we find ourselves in, isn't it? Now with that fight with Old Boy, I can't fathom how he endured 2 centuries of isolation in that trial room. Ki-Bong, at least, had you as a semblance of company. Yet, from my observations, the extended stay in the trial area seems to yield increased strength. This raises intriguing questions about the purpose behind selectively entrapping individuals in this realm. Is the Overseer of the Awakening pursuing a specific ability or trait crucial to some undisclosed and mysterious plot?
What I do know is that our actions inadvertently turned the turban-wearing leader into the medium, effectively replacing the Daystone. This fusion with my other self granted him enhanced powers beyond his initial expectations. As for the other question, I'll address it shortly. Ki-Bong and I suddenly materialized on the scene, much to the relief of the others. Ki-Bong told me to use my ability to protect everyone, prompting me to activate a total defense to encase the area in a protective shield. Meanwhile, Ki-Bong took care of the monsters in their vicinity before rejoining the group. Yue received a code black alert, informing Ki-Bong they needed to return as quickly as possible. While I opened a portal, Ki-Bong thought it best for others to return while we searched for the turban-wearing man. However, he was shocked to find his home under attack by the monsters, expressing worry for his mother's safety. Yue tried to assure him that the government was protecting his mother. but Ki-Bong's demeanor changed. He announced that they would head home on the double, but I blocked the portal, making Ki-Bong angry. I explained that Ki-Bong couldn't go back at the moment, calculating the probability of his mother's survival if he returned. I also mentioned that if Ki-Bong pursued and eliminated the man responsible for the situation, his mother's lifespan would be restored to a natural length. He instructed his team to protect his mother until he returned. Then we left to put an end to this once and for all. We landed in the city where I last detected Hype's leader. I informed Ki-Bong that interference prevented me from detecting his location within the city. Ki-Bong decided to, as he put it, knock on his door, thus revealing that this city was slowly transforming into a dungeon. A monster was sent as our welcome party, and I placed a barrier, not expecting it to destroy the monster too. However, Hype's leader used the corpse's head as a two-way radio, welcoming us to our doom. Our attention shifted to a group of people who had injected themselves with an item, turning them into monsters. Ki-Bong swiftly decided to eliminate them, despite my reminder that they were once human. Ki-Bong reasoned that their retained humanity was precisely the reason they needed to be dealt with swiftly. He punched and destroyed the group of monsters, setting the stage for the impending confrontation. Opening a gate to our location, Hype's leader, now fused with my other self, steps through, offering a twisted congratulation to Ki-Bong for his brutal display in slaughtering all those new humans. Ki-Bong advances firm in his declaration that it all ends here, urging Hype's leader to surrender and seal the dungeons. Ignoring the warning, Hype's leader summons 4 formidable level 10 monsters, designating them his 4 horsemen. A fierce aerial battle unfolds above the city, with Ki-Bong showcasing unmatched prowess against Hype's allies. Just as I move to support Ki-Bong, Hype's leader cunningly interferes, leveraging the power of my other self to trap me back in the tutorial dimension. Inside this dimensional prison, he cryptically claims my mission is accomplished, signaling my return to him. Puzzled about this so-called mission, he attempts reabsorption. Unyielding, I resist breaking free and boldly stating that I won't relinquish the 3,000 years spent alongside Ki-Bong. I assert my unwavering determination to confront my original head-on, refusing to relinquish my autonomy.
Your absence upon my arrival in your world left me intrigued. Let me shed light on what unfolded in the other realm. Witnessing your abduction, Ki-Bong ceased playing with the 4 creatures and, in a single strike visible from space, obliterated their existence. With the prologue concluded, Ki-Bong demanded your return. A defiant optic blast met his demand, leading Ki-Bong to reappear behind Hype's leader. Delivering a formidable punch that sent him flying across town, Ki-Bong asserted his dominance. Overwhelmed, Hype's leader found himself kneeling. However, before Ki-Bong could administer a final strike, the celestial being within Hype's weakened leader seized the opportunity, claiming his body and fully manifesting in your world.
Finally, my 3,000-year plan has borne fruit.
What plan are you talking about?
Ignorant mortal, did you truly think what happened to you was an error? Your current strength was bestowed upon you by a part of me that I left with you to guide your progress.
So you deliberately trapped me in that place?
Your unique awakening was merely the first phase of my entry into your world. I needed an anomaly to fracture the world's restrictions.
Restrictions?
Indeed, to completely enter your world, I required a vessel cultivated in your realm and someone capable of shattering its barrier. Only those born in this realm are free from these restrictions.
So all this chaos, all these murders, were orchestrated for you to establish residence here?
Yes.
Disregarding the loss of life your other self brought to the world, Ki-Bong swiftly advanced, unleashing a powerful strike that triggered an explosive shockwave, shaping an arena for their intense clash. Fueled by frustration, Ki-Bong launched a relentless assault, each blow resonating with earth-shaking force. Reforming in midair, the Celestial retaliated with a catastrophic energy blast, leaving indelible scars on the planet. Astonishingly, Ki-Bong stood undeterred, prompting the Celestial to refine his next attack, forcing Ki-Bong out of his transformed state. Facing Ki-Bong, your other self considered sparing him, proposing a truce if Ki-Bong joined forces. Reverting to his Super Saiyan form, Ki-Bong struck, but your other self adeptly countered, subjecting Ki-Bong to a relentless beating. Taunting him about the impending doom for everyone connected to him, your other self seemed unstoppable. Ki-Bong, shedding all restraints, surged beyond previous limits, instilling fear in the world. Defiant, Ki-Bong emerged as the stronger contender, demanding your return. The Celestial, weary of their conflict, moment, decided to escalate the battle to the tutorial dimension, seeking absolute freedom. Summoning Ki-Bong's tutorial monster, he aimed to exploit past traumas. However, Ki-Bong unleashed a punch that shattered the dimension, catching your other self off guard.
Ki-Bong's revelation of his ascended form, achieved unbeknownst to my other self, shattered the confines of the tutorial dungeon. His ascent, reaching infinity and beyond, unfolded amidst the collapsing world during their fierce clash. Seizing the moment, I started to absorb him as he tried to do me, reclaiming the lost power and establishing dominance as the primary ego.
His strategic misstep left him vulnerable in a 2-on-1 battle, where the power he displayed paled in comparison to his earthly prowess. Your astute siphoning during the intense clash with Ki-Bong further weakened him. Freed from concerns for their environment, Ki-Bong unleashed his unbridled might. Ultimately, you absorbed him, achieving a sense of completeness, almost a rebirth. After enduring so much, I believe Ki-Bong deserves a happy ending, but let's keep this discreet. And with this, our tale reaches its conclusion. If you found the story captivating, do express your appreciation by leaving a like and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. However, bear in mind that there's more to unfold in this intricate narrative. If the appetite for more adventures in this world lingers within you, let me know, and I'll eagerly delve back into this realm to unveil additional chapters and untold stories. Your engagement fuels the continuation of this riveting journey.